Hey internet, so I want to tell you my feelings and my theories and all sorts of recapness about Legion. I am up to chapter 5, which I believe I've been watching it on demand, so I don't know exactly the timeline of this, but I want to say that this episode had like a week break and then chapter 6 shows up, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Because it almost seems like a good point that they would do that to you because of like a cliffhanger that it is. So let's step back and talk about everything up until this point. So watching the very first episode of Legion was like, I don't even know. Like I like the hospital-esque things and whatnot, but as the episode went on, the only way to describe chapter 1 or like the pilot or whatever you want to call it is just that it's weird. Like, there's no other way to really say anything else aside from that it was weird. Because so you have David and he's in the hospital because they think he has schizophrenia. And as far as he knows, he has schizophrenia. And, you know, and then he has his friend Lenny, and then he finds Sid, who shows up later, but then later on in the episode, then it starts going like bam, 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 like super fast paced, and you're like, what just happened? So that's kind of cool how they do that. And I also want to say that I have zero knowledge of, like, is X-Men Marvel? See, that's how much knowledge I have. I don't even know. Of the X-Men, like, base. So if this is based off of something, this is how much of it I know. So coming in with nothing is probably for the best. So anyway, as the episodes progress, you know, he gets to be with Dr. Bird. I believe it's Dr. Bird. And they try to, you know, figure out what's going on in his head and all this stuff. And as the episodes progress up to chapter 5, where I left off, you know, they got inside David's head and he has this monster, and he's afraid of the monster, but he doesn't know what the monster is. So in this past episode or two that I saw, we're pretty much trying to figure out if he is the monster, if he transforms into the monster, if this monster is the parasite that they dub it to be, or whatever. It's just kind of interesting that in the one video when they're in the super secret base camp or whatever where Amy is being held, they see the monster in an infrared camera, and like, do they really see what they're seeing? Like, what is that? Does he, like I said, does he transform into this monster? Do other people see this monster when he attacks? As the one guy who was kind of dying on the floor told the group, that there is a monster hidden behind a human face. So clearly this monster is taking over whenever David gets, you know, kind of psychopathic. So whatever. And the whole Lenny Benny thing is very intriguing. So I overheard my coworkers talk about the show, who kind of got me into the show, about that, and I thought they were just making stuff up. Like, I didn't put two and two together because I was not involved in the conversation. But now the fact that I see this happening, I almost feel like, so everyone knows of Lenny. David knows of Lenny. But when he talks to certain people, they say Benny. So does Lenny, does she almost transform herself to have people see what they want to see of her, of him? Or is it actually another, like, trick of David's mind telling everybody that it's Lenny? He sees a girl because he doesn't want to see a guy for whatever reason. He's more appealed to seeing a girl, or what? Like, that just baffles me. I want to find out where this is coming from. But the fact that whoever this person is, Lenny or Benny, is messing with his head, it's almost the parasite. But because they egg David on to get to that point, and then they see the red-eyed monster come out. So is Lenny/Benny even real? I want to say yes, only because of the people who have commented about it, or are those people commenting on it, aside from, you know, the people that were hanging on to David and trying to train him and whatever, or is Lenny Benny not real, and is, like, the Eye or whoever's trying to maintain this told people to go along with the story. Sid has a good point in that perhaps memories upon memories are, like, he shows up certain memories to hide other memories. Yes, okay, fine, that's coming from the love story of it, of the aspect of it, but, like, nobody else can necessarily see or know if this person is, like, alive or male or female. So that's one theory that I have. What else? Oh, another. So at the end of chapter 5, you know, we only got as far as chapter 5 and we were watching it, and basically, you know, the episode ends with everybody in a circle as they were in the hospital having their meeting or whatever, but having the doctor be Lenny. So, you know, I was watching it with a friend, and she pretty much comments, well, was it all a dream? Well, my mom didn't even go to that, but that would really suck. There's more episodes to watch, so it's not like they can go that route with the storyline, or they can be like almost, so leading up to that point, Sid is captured, touched, I don't know, pick a phrasing, I guess, by this red-eyed monster. She's screaming for David to help her. Not working. David doesn't know what to do. He can't do anything. So, you know, after the monster touches Sid, or what we would assume to be touching Sid, then it goes to the scene. So is it almost like a Inception type of deal where it's a memory inside of a memory? Or is it a, hey, we're going to make this false sense of reality while you think this is reality, it's not reality, but it's really just us messing with your memories and whatever. So that's theory 2. I do kind of enjoy Carrie. I really do, both Carries. They gave the storyline, which I kind of missed. The volume is really low, which is beyond me why that happens. But it's kind of fun that, you know, she comments, she's like, you know, he makes me laugh and I keep him safe. Well, as that you know progresses, that episode progresses, I think it might have still been chapter 5. I don't know. After a while, the episodes kind of blur together. That she gets beaten up and he feels it. So clearly, I know they share a body, but it's kind of like, I kind of like that. And, you know, him mentioning to the doctor, like, hey, basically the doctor coming to the conclusion of, you miss her. That's sweet. Well, yeah, you're missing a part of yourself. Of course you're going to miss her. Like, whatever. So I kind of like that. That's fun. Because at first, when you see that, you're like, is this like a figment of his imagination? Like, does anybody else actually see her? Does he just talk to himself? I mean, all these people are kind of, you know, mutants, but I don't know. So I'm hooked. If you haven't noticed, I am hooked on this. I usually watch it, as I said, like the next day or the weekend or whatever, after the fact, just because it's on so late on FX, which is totally fine because of the stuff that, you know, happens in it. You kind of have to have it late in the afternoon, or late in the evening. So yeah, that's my review. It's me rambling about stuff and giving a couple theories, so I apologize if none of this makes any sense whatsoever, but if you haven't watched Legion, you should. It's really cool, and if you're not hooked by the first episode, I recommend hanging on, because it gets better. It gets so much better. It's a lot of back and forth with the present and the past, which I was not fazed by it, honestly. A couple people I talked to rather, said that they didn't really like that they did that, or that it was kind of hard to follow. Apparently I can easily follow things, I don't know, but that didn't bother me. So just giving you a heads up about that if you haven't ever watched Legion and you want to. That's my only thing, is that, you know, it does a lot of back and forth with the past and the present, and it kind of, it pieces things together for you, so you're like, oh, okay. which I think is different and helpful and whatever. So there you go. There's my review up to chapter 5.